All right, so you're told use the following outline as a guide. Do not write more than 130 to 150 words in Spanish. Use the tenses appropriate to the topic. Right? And the scenario is you responded to an advertisement online and got the job as a salesperson in your favorite store. Write a letter to your friend in Santo Domingo in which you include what kind of store it is and what the job entails, how you prepared for your interview and your reaction when you got the job, something interesting that happened during your first week, how you plan to spend your first paycheck. All right, so if you haven't already, please take down the main things for the question. So like store, what the job entails, keywords, right? So that you'll have those as a guide for the letter. And of course, please note the year and the month for the question, right? And after that, let's do a little brainstorming together. Okay, so why don't we start with our brainstorm? What are some different types of stores that you know of? We could say it in English first if we need to, and then afterwards we'll put it into Spanish. Okay, so clothes store, shoe store. Right, so we're looking at this piece here. A store that sells electronics. All right, so we could always say una tienda donde se vende, and then you have your choice of whatever. Ropa for clothes. You have zapatos for shoes. You have libros. Well, okay, if it's groceries, yeah, comida. All right, no, but what are the names for stores that you would have learned in the past? Cafe, perhaps. All right, so zapateria, for example, for a store that sells shoes, right? Because it's starting to ring bells now. So this is a shoe store. Well, probably we don't want any butcher store, so not, I won't write it, but carniceria. A bookstore or a stationery store would be libreria. Jewelry store, joyeria. All right. Now, when it comes to choosing the store, right, bakery, panaderia, yeah, look at the other prompts to see which of these you could talk about the most. So, how you prepared for the interview, something interesting happened your first week, how you plan to spend your first paycheck, what the job entails. Heladeria, right? Ice cream shop, yes. And this one is bakery, right? There's also pasteleria for clothes, not clothes, sorry, for cake store. All right. So if it's a clothes store, we would say una tienda donde se vende ropa, right? And the others, I mean, you could still say where they sell any of these things. I think I'm gonna take off comida, right? And if it's a grocery store, you would say supermercado, right? Because what is a shop that sells food is a restaurant, but that's not what the question is asking. Yes, a clothes store could sell shoes too, yes. All right, good. So please note any vocabulary that you didn't know before or you forgot existed, and so you'll be able to use it again, right? All right, what does the job entail? It was this class we were talking about my favorite word in Spanish, I, right? So today we're going to use the expression I, K, right? Which is, it is necessary that. So at this job, I care, and then whatever you have to do, right? Right? So perhaps you have to speak to customers. What else would you have to do? Clean the store. Yeah, okay, organize the clothes, organize the items on the shelves. Um, well, probably los clientes, right? Or just hablar con la gente would be fine, right? And then what, okay, so besides speaking to customers, what else would you have to do? Organize things. What's the word for organize things in Spanish? Yeah, okay, so you could use organizar, and you could also use arreglar. Right, okay. What is the shelf? Did we meet the shelf the other day? El estante. So arreglar los estantes. Anything else the job entails? Okay, it's a cash. Well, a little less to collect money. But how do we say that? Oh, yes, to clean the store. Yes, for sure. That could be another thing that's easy to say. What is to clean? Okay, to collect money, recoger dinero. All right. Limpiar, good. All right. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna pause while you guys make a note of whatever phrases you still have to make a note of, and then I want to clear it away so we could talk about how we prepared for the interview. I wonder, can we make everything fit here? It'll be kind of hard. And what is the interesting thing that would happen during the first week? Please don't say robbery. Please don't say robbery. That doesn't sound interesting. That sounds scary. Training. Okay, a rude customer. Ah, somebody said robbery. Why? A fight between employees. Yeah, probably. Um, or a celebrity who walk into the store. Yes, that's one. Yes, that could happen. And then you help them with whatever. Nothing too exciting, right? Just something like no something normal that could happen that you would be able to deal with right then and there. All right, let's talk about how we prepared for the interview. So we could use so to prepare well is just preparar bien, right? And what is interview? La entrevista, right? Okay. Now, how do you prepare for an interview? How do you prepare for Spanish orals? Which is basically an interview. All right. Yes, you talk to yourself in the mirror. Good. Review the questions. Good practice. Good. So we could practicar. Mis respuestas, my responses. Right? You could talk about imaginar, to imagine. Unas preguntas, some questions. Okay, what was our reaction when we heard that we got the job? All right, so we know words like estar feliz, so the reaction we got the job. And somebody said excited, so emocionado or emocionada, depending, right, on your gender. Well, my only concern with surprised is we were practicing, so we shouldn't be surprised. We should be happy, but we should be like, yeah, we're a good person for the job. They're lucky to hire us. Okay, so if it is a celebrity, then una persona famosa, right? And ideally you would explain who the person is that visited, right? What else could it be? A lost phone, un celular perdido, or a lost child. How about that? A lost pet, un niño perdido. Do you know when you're in first year and second year, right? What was the message they told you for safety? Like if you get separated, if you're in a mall and you get separated from your parents, what did they tell you? Did they tell you look for a security guard, or did they tell you look for a police officer? What did they tell you? Stay in one place? Did they tell you you kind of well, you have to remember, try to think, guys. Then I will leave you all in the mall if I take you there. What did they tell you? Because now the advice is go to the cashier and wait and let your parents look for you. If you know your parents' number, tell the cashier the number, let them call. It's not look for a security guard because security guards wear all kinds of different uniforms. It's not look for a police because there might not be one around. It's go to the cashier. So I kind of like this idea now. A lost child, and you have to help them find the parents. All right, a lost cell phone. What else could we lose? Or what else could we? Somebody set a fight between employees. So una lucha entre otros empleados, right? All right, what are we gonna do with the first paycheck? All right, so comprar whatever you want to buy, but make sure you could say it in Spanish. Right, ropa, yes, no problem. You could also say ahorrar, you could save it. Buy KFC and parent. That sounds very responsible. Maybe you could buy something for your parents because presumably the person writing this letter is still a minor. I guess they could be an adult and so have actual bills to pay. Pagar, whatever you have to pay, whatever bills you have to pay, right? All right, so we've gone through and we brainstormed vocabulary for each of the points for the letter. Is there anything else anybody wants to know how to say in relation to this letter? Please make sure you have everything written down. All right, I'm going to give us a minute again, and then we're going to start the letter. All right, so students who participate today in our letter writing activity will get as their compensation prize a list of phrases to use in a letter. And as you can see, so we have openers, things to start the letter with, the shell of the letter. Most of your letters are going to have to write in past tense. So some phrases you could use to relate things that happened, right, that you might want to talk about in the letter. What else? to talk about your emotions, your reactions to things that happen, right? You know, this is a grammatical point. You know, in English, we say I got happy or I got sad or I got this or I got that, or I became happy. We use poner for that, right? Ponerse plus the emotion, right? To indicate that you started to feel whatever. So, just now we were talking about you felt happy or you felt excited. We'll use ponerse plus feliz or emocionado, right? All right. Some more idiomatic expressions you could use. Things that happened, your reaction to things that happen, and then ways to close the letter, right? So participate is the point, right? All right, so we're starting with the shell of a letter. Right? All right, so let's do the first part. What is the date? First, we need to say the date. So what is today's date in Spanish? Today is the 13th, Thursday, the 13th of February. You want to take a try before I put the answer on the board? Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, all right. So, um, el jueves. Yeah, I guess you could say, 13, just 13 de febrero. We're in febrero, right? Common F for February, de and year, 2025, right? All right. Now you don't need to put your real address. We could put an address if we want, right? So we could put Sangre Grande, preferably something Spanish, right? Trinidad. I could put this in 2 lines. Okay, it's an informal letter. All right, so how do we start the letter? Who are we writing to? Did it give us a name? No, we need to get a name for the person. Spanish name preferably, right? All right, so you could choose whether you put the person you're writing to is masculine or feminine, right? Querido Juan, if it's masculine. Querida Juana or Juanita, if it's feminine, right? All right, now every letter has this thing called a shell, a pretty standard way to start it and a pretty standard way to close it off when you get to the end, right? So we are talking about how we will start the letter. What will we say to begin with? Can you tell me something a phrase or a sentence that uses subjunctive? So what about I hope that you are well? You all can change your name, you all are welcome to change your name. All right, so espero que estés bien. Now I'm skipping a line because I'm going to, well, if I use block format, I need to skip a line, right? Right, now if I put an exclamation mark here, I have to put one at the start, and I will need some special characters. Sorry, we'll go back in a second. Right. Okay, and an accent on the second E as well in this case, right? So I hope that you are well. All right, so with estés, we've used subjunctive. Good. All right, moving on. What, anything else you want to say? Depending on how inspired you feel to write the letter, that could determine whether you add some sentences here or if you just get straight to the question. Right, remember it's your friend, so your friend will already know certain things about you. It's not you're not writing the person for the first time, right? So they will already know where you live. You're not introducing yourself for the first time. Okay, so if we wanted to add some more to our shell because we wanted to make up words, we're worried about the word count. What else can we say? We can say this. Hace mucho que no te escribo. It's been a while since I wrote you. Perdón por no escribir antes. Sorry for not writing before. I'm writing to tell you something incredible. That seems like it would fit, right? This one. All right, and we will also put in this piece, hace mucho tiempo que no te escribí. But I'm putting in tiempo, right? So hace mucho tiempo que no te escribes. Sorry, escribo. Right? And what was the other thing? Te escribo para contarte algo increíble. Right? And this phrase will work for many letters, not just this one. Yes, you could ask, how have you been? ¿Cómo te ha ido? Okay, let's take this one from Elizabeth. And I'm going to put this in here. How have you been? Right? Okay, I'm writing to tell you something incredible. What's the incredible thing? Ah, yes. Okay, so tengo un trabajo nuevo. Right? Well, and you could choose whether you're excited about it and want to use exclamation mark. I'm going to put one. All right. Now, Do you guys want us to, do you think we need to say this piece? That there was an advertisement online and we sent in an application and we got the job? But if we wanted to. Yeah, I guess we don't have to, right? But if we wanted to. Vendedor for salesperson or vendedora if you're female, right? All right, so we could say I saw would be V, right? Un anuncio en la red. Um, um, the okay, we need a name for the store. Let me just okay, so announcement on the net, un anuncio de mi tienda favorita. What's your favorite store, guys? And to the males in the class, perhaps the idea of working at a clothes store is not the most interesting thing. What kind of store would you work at if you could? If it's a clothes store, great. But would it be a sports store? Would it be a car store? Would it be an electronics store? What would it be? A pet store? No, nobody said that. I'm just asking. Right? It doesn't have to be a clothes store. It could be anything. But let's give it a name now. I'm just gonna give it a name. La tienda de Enrique. Henry store. Enrique store. Donde se vende, where they sell, and oh, here's where you could put in whatever you want to put in. Ropa, if it's clothes, or what else? Artículos de sporting things, artículos de deportes. Accent on the I. Or whatever else you want to put, right? Let's put up here, let's put V and R up here. And you could also say V like il internet, right? But I'm using red instead. Well, red, we would say. Okay, everybody okay so far? Anybody is confused? All right, so this, if you want to put any phrase como vendedor / vendedora, if you're female, right? So just making sure everybody's okay so far. All right, so this could be our first paragraph, right? We've answered the first question. No, we didn't say what the job entails. What does the job entail? So cada dia, every day, what do I do? What did we say? What were the things we said we do? Arreglo los estantes. So I fix the shelves, I arrange the shelves. What else do I do? Recoger dinero de la gente. I collect money from people, or de los clientes. What else? Hablo. Sorry, this is not recoger, this is recojo. And to keep the sound a soft G sound, well, an H sound, recojo, right? Recojo dinero de la gente, hablo, y hablo con los clientes, right? Sorry, yeah, hablo, right? Okay. All right, Dia needs an accent on the I. Good. So that is our first paragraph. We've answered the first part of the question. Right? All right. So to prepare for the interview is really in order to prepare for the interview. Oops, sorry. There are many sorries. Okay, right. So para preparar antes de la entrevista, right? What did you do? We said earlier we practice questions. What else did we do? Did you visit the store? Could you have visited the store? All right, so practicar is to practice, right? So if we put it in past tense, practique, but I have to change that C to QUE, to QU to keep the sound, right? All right, so I practice possible questions, practique preguntas posibles. What else did you do? Did you research the store? So investigar. So también investigate is a good reminder for portraits that need spelling changes, right? Sobre la tienda. All right. And then what was the reaction when we got the job? Oh, okay. Visitar la tienda. So, visité y, well, it'll become a now, right? Investigué la tienda. All right. So I need some e's with accents here. For future tense. Right? Okay. How did we feel when we got the job? Right. Okay. So ponerse to become. So me puse, because it's past tense, and poner is an irregular past tense, right? Emocionado. Muy emocionado or emocionada, depending on your gender, you are writing letter, right? So you have to choose. Cuando, when I got the job. So conseguir, like to succeed in getting. Conseguí. el trabajo, right? Ay, me puse muy emocionado, emocionada y muy feliz. Also, you could say contento or contenta. I'm sure that would be fine. Good. Questions, problems, any issues? Ignore this squiggly line. It wants me to get rid of the A, but I can't. This is to remind us you have to choose the gender. Make it agree, right? Yes, contenta could work too. Contento. All right. Should I give you a couple more minutes and then we take a break here before we finish off the letter? Right. Now, when we're choosing something that happened to relate in the letter, remember this is an informal letter to a friend. It's it's supposed to be lighthearted kind of and fun. So we can't have anything too serious or dangerous. For example, we probably don't want a fire in the store. And for the same reason, this is why I don't want like a robbery in the store, right? We just want something that could be resolved quickly. So, I mean, if you argue that, a lost child is a little too dark, okay, I'll accept that. And we could go with um the celebrity, right? All right. So during my first week, how do we say during my first week? How do we say during? Durante. And how do we say my first week? Mi semana. Mi primera semana. Right? Um, algo, something incredible. Did we already say incredible in the above? I don't remember. Algo increíble. I think so, right? Um, anyhow. Pasó or ocurrió, if you prefer, right? All right, so what was he saying? So I have to put in some accents, and I accent by increíble. Right, and what is the thing that happened? Enrique Iglesias. Hey, remember we said it was the tienda de Enrique. We could make him the owner of the store. El cantante famoso, right? Visited the store. Visité, hasta visitó, right? Visited us. So nos visitó. Right? All right. So where else? I need an accent on the O's for present tense. And you could change Enrique Iglesias to anybody you want. Um, a different name, a group, whatever. All right. And what did we help him do? So I helped. Ayudar is to help, right? So ayudé. And I helped him. So I need an object pronoun for him. First I need an E with an accent. All right. What did I help him do? What did I help him find? All right. So le ayudé. No, sorry, lo ayudé, right? I helped him to do what? To buy some t-shirts. So, comprar unas camisetas nuevas, right? Or whatever else you want to help him do is fine. Or her, the celebrity, whoever you choose, right? Simple things that you know how to say, but you're answering the question, right? All right. What else would you have done if a celebrity walked into the store? Would you have taken a picture? You all told me this last week when we were doing a situation with a celebrity. Do people ask for autographs anymore? Is that like a long time? Oh, okay, they do. All right. All right. So, all right, let's try saying that. I asked him for an autograph and a picture. Now, this time to ask is pedir and not preguntar, right? So I asked, we put pedir in past tense, pedir, le pedi. Accents on the I. Un autógrafo y una foto. So even though photo ends in a no, it's a feminine noun, right? All right, so let's put in my missing accent. All right, so have we answered this piece of the question? We could move on. Yes? All right, so our first paycheck, how do we plan to spend it? And we can use a simple verb, voy a. What are we going to do? We're going to save it. Vacation, all right. Okay, well, let's rephrase that a little bit. So with my first paycheck on me primer, well, the English word they have put in here is paycheck, but we mean salary. How do we say salary? We could say salary, right? Paycheck is like a idiomatic expression in English because most of the time you're not literally receiving a paycheck. You might get a direct deposit, you might get cash, you might get a firm handshake and a thank you if you're working for your parents. Ha ha ha. Well, let's go with sueldo. Con mi primer sueldo, right? So we'll use that as salary. Now, if I say when I receive my first salary, the issue is going to be that I haven't received it yet. So I have to use subjunctive, right? So with my first salary, this is a different way of organizing the words. So this is just a noun and an adjective, right? With my first salary. Voy de vacaciones was one suggestion, right? Another suggestion could be voy a ahorrar. I'm going to save a lot of money, dinero. You could also say voy a comprar regalos. para mis, whomever, mis amigos, mis amigas, mis padres. I'm going to put mis padres for my parents. I'm going to buy gifts for my parents, right? Or someone had said pay bills, pagar facturas, or yeah, I guess that could way that could work, right? All right. We're done then. We've answered the questions. So we just have to close the letter, right? Now, I'm gonna just reorganize a little bit, and I apologize because I know I always do this. Where after I have you write something a particular way, I reorganize it. I'm sorry. Now, because otherwise what will happen is we'll end up with 5 paragraphs. And that seems like it would be a little long for a letter, given how short a lot of these paragraphs are, right? So if we put 3 and 4 together, and then we put this, because that's just one sentence that we have there, right? That one sentence cannot stand by itself. Okay, so now we're going to do the closing. All right. Now, oh yes, people have been participating, and so they will get this link. Let us do that now. Right. So I was saying that we have some phrases to close our letter here that we could choose from. We could just say hasta la próxima carta. Yeah, all right, we'll go with that, right? Do you remember how we say greetings to your family, or my greetings, send greetings on my behalf? My father used to say this real old time thing. He used to say, give my respects to, I think. Give my respect. What? Pay my respects to? Give my regards. Does it? Well, yeah. Give my regards to your friend or whatever. So I always think of it kind of like this. Saludos de mi parte, right? A tus padres, right? And so greetings from me to your parents, and until the next letter. Okay, and then we close off. You could put con cariño, you could put besos, you could put un fuerte abrazo, and your name, right? All right, let's see. Anything else we need to discuss here? Everybody is clear on what we did, why we did it. Anybody has a question they want to ask? All right, so I'm going to make this bigger while you're writing. I'm going to keep sending out the link to the document to people who sent answers, right? Okay. When you are writing your letter, paragraphs are very important, right? You need to have an opening paragraph. That's like your introduction. That's the first one that we wrote with the shell, or the fillers, kind of. That's this one. And we answered piece of the question there, right? Then you need to have a closing. This is the last part that we wrote. We're done answering everything in the question. We didn't put anything else in there, right? In between now, we need to have body paragraphs. So we have 1, it's the intro, 2, 3, and 4. This closing by itself with just 2 sentences is a paragraph. So we have 4 body paragraphs, right? We need to organize it in a logical way. So we're not going to, if we are halfway through talking about our reaction, we won't go to the next paragraph and continue talking about our reaction, right? We have to, just like in English, where you put ideas that belong together in a paragraph, the same for Spanish. Put the ideas that are related to each other in the paragraph. Now, if you answer part 3 before you answer part 2, because that's how your letter flows, no problem. Just think about the organization in general and make sure it doesn't confuse the reader, that they don't cover A and B and then you go into C, but then you also come back to A and then you go back to B. No, put everything for A, everything for B, everything for C. Cool. Now we are probably using block format. I didn't indent. I'm assuming that I will, not assuming, I'm anticipating I will skip a line. You must show where your paragraphs begin and end. So if you're not going to skip a line, because that is weird to you, you've never done it in your life, what is Miss doing? Nobody knows. Indent. Go in a few spaces, right? So indent. So go here, go here, go in a few spaces, right? If you indent and skip a line, that is better than not doing either one. It's better to do both, which is a little bit of a mistake, but you'll still show where your paragraphs, how your paragraphs are separated, right? An examiner does not want a whole block of text. They will think you are confused. And even if we're feeling confused, we're not going to show it. We're going to come across as cool and collected and prepared, because we are. All right. It's 5:54. Look, I asked you all earlier about topics you might want to go into next. And only one person gave me a topic, which was direct and indirect object pronouns. Vocabulary topics, right? Let's look at it. So fundamentals, greetings, family relationships, Sarah star, articles, adjective agreement, those things we're good on, right? Daily routine, school life, reflexive verbs, regular and irregular verbs in the preterite, pour versus para, shopping, food, restaurants, food and drinks, money, clothes. How about this? Comparisons. Is this something we need to revise? Más que, menos que, tan como. So more than, less than, as much as, or as. All right. Comparisons. What about a grammar topic? No, sorry, not a grammar topic, a vocabulary topic. Shopping, food, restaurants, travel, weather, transportation, health, sports, leisure. Maybe health, we could review health. Like how we say when we're feeling sick and what we want, what specifically is hurting or what is bothering us, what medication we need, what we might say to a pharmacist and to a doctor. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so that is our plan for next week, right? All right, and y'all can keep thinking about what you want to revise next. Okay, so let's look then at the listening comprehension passage, right? Okay, so we're going to read and listen to how the words sound, and you're going to ask for whatever vocabulary word you don't know. All right, only one person is telling me to remember the passage. Anybody else remembers the passage? I hope you would have forgotten the answers by now. But I think it was hard enough the first time to warrant doing it again. All right. A dream come true. Ayer fue el matrimonio de Lola. Se despertó temprano porque estaba ansiosa de tener una boda feliz y romántica. What is una boda? A wedding. Good. Right. All right. La boda iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana. Así, a las 9:30, Lola ya estaba lista. Ella estaba muy bonita y elegante en un hermoso vestido blanco. Llevaba un ramo de orquídeas bonitas y se veía muy contenta. Lola, su papá y las damas de honor estaban a punto de salir para la iglesia cuando oyeron una noticia mala en la radio. Right, so tell me what words we don't know here. And if you can't tell me what is going on in the paragraph, then that means there are some words that we don't know. So what is going on in the paragraph? What words we don't know? Let me. So the phrase a punto de. Punto looks like what English word? Point. Right, good. So at the point of, basically, right? And then salir is to leave, to go out. So if you're ever at the point of doing something, you're just about to do something, a punto de. So if you're about to eat, a punto de comer. You're about to end class, a punto de terminar la clase. You're about to fall asleep, a punto de to go to bed, acostarme, right? All right. And salir is I like to think of this as a superverb with like a cape, right? Because it means a lot of things. It means to go out, like to go out on a date. It means to go out of, like to go out of a building. It means to leave, right? All right, good. Good question. Any other words? Ramo de orquídeas. Great. So ramo is bunch, but really what they mean is like a bouquet, right? And you can imagine she's a bride, so she has a bunch of flowers on her. And what kind of flower is it? What's orquídeas? Orquídeas. Orchids, right, good. Right? It might be useful to learn one or two flower words so that you could say what kind of flowers you like if that question ever comes up. But you could when you see this again, if you ever see this again, you'll know what it is. All right, good. More questions. So desperto, it's really se and desperto go together. From despertarse. To wake up. Right? So it is reflexive. It is also stem changing. E to IE. Right? So if you say I wake up, me despierto. Right? But since this is in present tense, this doesn't come from the conjugated form, it comes from the AR form. So you take off the AR, desperto, despertas, te, desperte, despertaste, desperto, right? All right, anyway, ansiosa, estaba ansiosa. What word does this look like? As a feeling, it's a feeling word. What feeling is she? Probably anxious. Good, right? Right, so I need you all to remember Spanish is very close to English. If you don't know the exact word, make an educated guess, right? We come from the same parent language. All right, everything else in the first paragraph is okay. So we know there's a wedding. Well, it has to be with Lola because her name gets repeated. We know she woke up temprano, which is early. We know she was anxious. De tener, we know tener is to have. Una boda feliz y romántica. So she probably, so happy wedding, romantic wedding. What time was the wedding going to be? Iba a ser a las 10 de la mañana. So it's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? A lot of times you hear a number, you might need to take note of the number, right? Iba a ser. Now, if you hear that out loud without seeing the words and you just say, Iba a ser, there are so many things that could be in Spanish, right? It could be Iba, but then you would know, okay, well, it's not really a double E, so Iba, Ser, but you might hear Aser, right? But either way, you would hear a las 10, which would be the most important thing, right? All right, Ser. Okay, so it was going to be at 10 in the morning, right? Así a las 9:30, Lola ya estaba lista, right? So at 9:30, she was ready. You see pretty, you see elegant, so she was all those things. And what was she wearing? Was un hermoso vestido blanco. She's a bride. What's she probably wearing? A white dress, right? A wedding dress, right? So you could look at it and you will see white, and that should confirm for you. Okay, it's a white dress. Vestido is dress, and hermoso is beautiful, right? But it won't be ugly, so you could just take an educated guess that it means pretty white dress, right? All right, so llevaba from llevar to carry. She was carrying a bunch of pretty orchids. Se veía muy contenta. She was going along very happy. And then Lola, su papá y las damas. So this could also be important. Who is she with? Su papá y las damas de honor. Now, you don't hear the H in Spanish at the beginning of Spanish words. So when you hear honor, you have to kind of know that is honor. Or if you hear damas, you know damas, right? Everybody knows the word damas for ladies. Una dama is a lady. So who are the damas de honor? What's the English equivalent to that? In a wedding. Yeah, well, maid of honor, yes. However, it has damas. So probably it's bridesmaids because it's damas, plural. And you wouldn't have more than one maid of honor. But so just things to keep in mind, right? Perhaps when we see the question, we'll know if it's relevant or not. Anyhow, they were about to leave for the church. Cuando oyeron means what? Una noticia mala. So you'll understand mala, we should understand mala, en la radio. And we should get, well, radio, right? So from oír to hear. Okay, let's go through the second paragraph a little faster because we're running out of time. Había ocurrido un accidente terrible en la ciudad en el cual resultaron heridas 3 personas. Una de ellas, Enrique, el novio de Lola. What does that sentence say? Ocurrido from ocurrir, to happen, right? And what happened? Un accidente terrible is what? A terrible accident, right? In the city, and herida is wounded. Right, so 3 people, including one of them, una de ellas, Enrique, right? Now, ellas agrees with personas, which is feminine, one of them, right? It's not that Enrique is female. El novio de Lola. Lola se cayó al suelo. So what does she do? Llorando y gritando. Very dramatic. I mean, I guess she's upset, so that's understandable. Why put in il qual? Where is il qual? Oh, which? So an accident occurred, a terrible accident occurred in the city, which resulted in 3 wounded. This is the in 3 wounded. It's like saying in which resulted 3 wounded people. Right? So qual always means which. So not a super important word to remember unless they're pointing out which one, but I'm gonna add qual to the list of things, qual related terms, right? Okay, so anyway, Lola Kayo, say Kayo, so from Kayer, to fall. So she probably fainted. No, she didn't faint because she was crying, right? You are, she threw herself to the ground probably. Crying, to cry. Gritar, to shout, right? Todos estaban confundidos y no sabían qué hacer. So everybody was feeling how? Confused. Y no sabían, they did not know what to do, right? And there's an implied question, so there's an accent, but we won't be seeing the passage, we'll just be hearing it, no biggie. La mamá de Lola, so this is the first mention of the mama. First it was the papa and the bridesmaids, but now the mama is here too. La mamá de Lola se desmayó y sus amigas empezaron a llorar también. All right, thoughts? Anything confusing? So everybody is sad and crying. Right? This is a mother fainted. All right, de repente el teléfono sonó y el papá de Lola contestó. So what happened? The phone rang and her father answered. Right? To faint is desmayarse. Reflexive as well, right? All these personal actions tend to be reflexive. Right. So era Enrique. What? The wounded party? Y le dijo que había una equivocación. What is that? A mistake. Right? And the verb is equivocarse, to make a mistake. Also reflexive. Right, last sentence. Él estaba vivo y listo para su boda. So he was alive and ready for his wedding. Lola indudablemente supo entonces que sería el día más feliz de su vida. So Lola undoubtedly knew then that it would be the happiest day of her life, right? This is an unnecessary word. You can't get a question on that. Not super necessary to remember. Supo means is the past tense for saber, but this part here would be the happiest day of her life, right? Might be relevant. So some of listening is knowing what you need to ignore, what you could afford to ignore, right? And using what you could recognize to help you figure out the rest. Okay, guys, it's 6:12. Usually I try to let you go a little bit earlier, but sorry, this took a little longer. If you still have questions about this passage, you could let me know. Next week, we want to do the listening in class. It will not be the first thing, since sometimes we have stragglers who join a little late, but it might be the second thing that we do, right? So you can take a screenshot, look over the passage if you want. And next week we'll do the questions. If you have no more questions, you're free to go, right?